Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. I have been missing the room by room challenge, and we're slowly working on our bathroom, and we're doing Industrial Farmhouse. So even though this is a part 1 of 2, I just had to get something done for this playlist. I will tell you all about the collaboration and the wonderful Devin here in a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the bathroom before and during. So part of us buying this house was the understanding that we were going to put a tub in. It took us 2 years, but while we were on vacation, a friend of my husband's came over and put in a tub for us. And as well as we swapped out the sink. This is a small bathroom with no window, and so humidity is an issue. So we wanted something that got up off the floor. And so while we were gone, these two things happened. Obviously, it still needs paint and a whole lot of work, but we're going to start some of the fun stuff anyhow. To make the faux metal bins, you will need some plastic bins of your choice, primer, gray or black, spray paint, Rust-Oleum metallic, and then optional, you could use tags. I had these 3 plastic bins that I stole from another location. I believe I got them on Amazon forever ago. And the first thing I did was take and clean them real well with Clorox wipes. And then I used primer and did a couple of coats of primer. I would suggest going with black if you're going to use a dark color, but the gray worked okay. I could not find black. Sorry if you're getting dizzy, my daughter was recording. And then I took this Rust-Oleum metallic. I believe this is the charcoal. It does not say anywhere on the can. It's not the blackest of the black, but it's close. I could not find that one. And so I gave these several coats, probably about 3. I was going to use one of those cookie sheets and make labels for these bins, but I just did not get it done. I may go back and do that sometime, but for now, I kind of just like them with no labels. So you guys will have to let me know. Labels, no labels, what do you think? To create the faux metal hoop shelf, you will need 2 24.5-inch hula hoops, 2 26-inch 1x6 boards, stain in espresso, primer in gray or black, spray paint, the Rust-Oleum metallic, polyurethane, 8 screws, and then hanging hardware. The first thing you'll do is take the wrapping off your hula hoops, and if you look, there's a seam, and it's just really easy to just peel off of there, and so then you'll have this gray base. And then I took and dumped out all the little seeds inside, and then I glued the ends together so that they wouldn't be popping open, and I just used some Gorilla super glue. And then put the glue on and then just stuck it back together and let it set. Then I took primer. I was looking for black primer, but I couldn't find it at the store. So I used gray and it worked just fine. Black would probably get you closer to the original color. Maybe wouldn't have to do as many coats. But I did do a couple of the gray primer, and then I used this metallic Rust-Oleum. It's the one before the blackest of the black. I believe it's called charcoal, but I can't find it anywhere on the can. It's sort of like a real dark steel color. And so my hula hoops are about 24.5 inches. And so I took and cut some boards down to 26 inches each, just so that they would hang over just a little bit on the edges, but not much. So those are getting ready to cut. And then I went over to my saw and just cut off the ends. I had bought this in a board at Home Depot, and they cut it down to fit in the car. So I didn't have a whole lot of cutting to do. And then once I had them cut down, I just used a sanding block and just sanded up the rough edges just a little bit, just any sharp jagged edges that were sticking out. And then I took stain in the color espresso, and I like to apply stain with old rags. I know there's many different ways. A lot of people use foam brushes or other sorts of cloth. This is my preferred method. And I just sort of do the wipe on, wipe off method. After I did this, I was reading, and it actually says that you should let it set for 15 minutes and then wipe it off. I have never done that when I stained. I'm curious to know what the difference is. Possibly it would be darker. I'm not sure. I just did one coat. I was really liking the color with just one coat. So I did just do one coat on both boards, front, back, and all the sides. I let the stain dry for a couple hours and then I applied polyurethane over the top. I just did one light coat, mostly because these are going to be in a bathroom. They're not going to get used a ton, mostly decorative, but just to help protect that wood a little bit more. And so I did one coat top and sides, and then I stood them up and did the other side because I'm super impatient and didn't want to wait. Putting this together was a little trickier than I thought. Basically, I just measured down 7 inches from the top, and then I marked it with tape, and then we marked the top with pencil, and my husband is helping me with these projects. I had a sister moved, so I'm not supposed to be doing a whole lot, but first we pre-drilled the board as well as through the hula hoop, and then my husband is threading the screw through and then screwing it down to the wood. And then the rest of them I just sort of laid out, and I did pre-drill, and then I went through the hula hoop and the wood, pre-drilled, and then added screws in them as well. The hardest thing is getting the shelves evenly distributed. I tried to keep them 9 inches all the way across. It looks a little crooked here, but we'll have to see what it looks like when it's hung. The bathroom is still not painted, and there's some other stuff I need to get done in there, so this shelf is not going up right away, but this is where it will go. I'd love to know what you guys think. I have seen these done several different ways, and I just knew I had to try it. To make the ring towel hanger / shelf, you will need a ring towel hanger and hardware, 2 12-inch boards, 1x6 boards, stain in espresso, spray paint in Rust-Oleum metallic, polyurethane, black screws, and then the hanging hardware. Giving this 90s towel holder a new look. First thing I did was Clorox it really well, just cleaned it off really well, and then I used a sanding block just to rough it up a little, and then I used a primer, and I did 2 coats of this gray primer. I would suggest black, but this is what I had, and then I took the metallic in the color I had chose, which is the closest to the black that you can get that isn't the black. It's like a charcoal color. And I gave it several coats, probably 4. These round things are just a little bit hard, so I kind of had to turn it and paint, and then turn it again and paint. And then I took 2 small L brackets and 4 screws, and I painted them the same color as well, as they will be the hardware that I will use to create my shelf. And then I cut boards to 12 inches, 2 12-inch pieces. And then I sanded off the rough, jagged portions of the edges. I didn't do a good sanding because I wanted a rustic look, but I just anything that was kind of poking out or jagged from the saw. And then I took stain in this Minwax espresso color, and I stained front, back, and sides of both 12-inch boards. I like to use a rag, so that is what I use, and I just sort of do the wipe on, wipe off method. But the can actually suggests that you put it on and wait 15 minutes and then wipe it off. So I'd be curious to do a side-by-side and see what the difference is. I really love the way this turned out, so I don't think I would change anything about it, but you could do another coat or 2 even and get it real dark if you like. And then I took polyurethane and gave it a good coat, front and sides, and then I came back and tipped it up and did the back side because I'm super impatient and want to wait for it to dry. Okay, so I did not pay attention to the length of the screws. So the screws end up being too long, but first we pre-drilled and then we put the screws through and see they went through the back. So I had to go with something shorter, and of course they're not the ones that I had spray painted. So they just went in silver, and then we attached the towel holder with the hardware that it had, and then for some extra support we did drill pilot holes and put screws where they connect there. I meant to go through and wood glue them first, but you know, I kind of got ahead of myself. So then I went back with some of the spray paint on a brush and just covered those screw heads just a little bit. And there you go. Here it is. It's my little towel holder shelf. What do you guys think? This video is part of the Room by Room Fall Industrial Farmhouse collaboration hosted by Freckled Mom DIY. Devin, you got to check her out. Go visit her channel. She has such fun things. She has a very eclectic style as well as I. And so I just love seeing what Devin is going to come up with next. There will also be a playlist full of other people giving you some industrial farmhouse inspiration today, so be sure to check that out. All the links will be in my description box down below. I made these toilet paper pumpkins last year with Dollar Tree dish towels, but this year I wanted to put an industrial farmhouse spin on it. So for this, you will need toilet paper rolls, material in your choice, cinnamon sticks, leaves, and then a long screw. So the first thing I did was I took this roll of fabric that I got from the Dollar Tree and all folded out. It was the perfect size to wrap a toilet paper roll in. And so then I just started at a corner after I put in some cinnamon sticks, give it that fall flavor, and just push it down and then just sort of go around and bunch and push it all down inside the toilet paper hole. And once I had it all pushed down inside the way I liked it, I worked on trying to figure out which stem I wanted to use, and I ended up having to go out to the garage and get an even longer screw. I guess probably it's technically a bolt. So I just propped up some cinnamon sticks in there just to make it just a little bit longer, and then I placed it in there, and then I placed some of these fake leaves around it, and then my little twirly cue. What are they called? Vine. And then for the other one, I used a piece of burlap and I just cut it roughly the same size. Same process, starting at a corner, pushing it down inside and then going around bunching and pushing down inside the toilet paper roll. And again, I did put some cinnamon sticks in there as well because I just love the smell of cinnamon, especially for fall. And then I added some more cinnamon sticks on the outside, same basic process, just to make my screw or bolt, or technically whatever it is, stick up just a little bit higher. And then I added some fake leaves again, and then I had the stem to these leaves laying there, so I twisted it around a pin to make my little curly cue. And that is it for these guys. What do you guys think? I think that they turned out really super cute. I've seen these done with wine corks, with sticks from the yard. You could use any material. I mean, you could really just do whatever you like with these. And I think that they're just a fun way to add some fall cheer to the potty room. This project, we're going to make a faux metal pumpkin candle holder. You'll need a small jar lid, cookie sheet, hot glue gun, metallic spray paint, and battery tea light candle, and then a leaf and stem of your choice. You can pick these cookie sheets up at the Dollar Tree and you get 2 of them. So I just took a pair of scissors to it and just trimmed the edges off. And then I simply cut it into strips. I was not careful about size. I was not worried about them all being perfectly the same. So I just cut as many strips as I thought I might need. And I had to redo this project a couple of times, so I apologize. But basically what I did here is I just hot glued these all to the bottom of the, well, actually what would be the top of the jar lid. And then I went around and just cut them all down to be roughly the same length. I was thinking I would use a washer, but it was a little bit too heavy, so I just cut one out of the cookie sheet material, just a round circle, so that I had something to glue the top pieces to. And then I went around and glued the ends to the circle. Didn't sit real straight, so I just glued a couple of extra pieces to the bottom until I got it to where it sat evenly. And then I took leftover strips and glued them together to start making a stem. And I just sort of glued and twisted and glued it together until I thought it resembled a pumpkin stem. And then I just glued it to the top of the pumpkin. And I sort of end up adding a few more strands and sort of twisting them together to make the stem just a little bit thicker. And then I took this metal leaf that I had off another decor piece from the Dollar Tree, and the little cork thing, or the little, what do you want to call it? It looks like a wine cork to me, but the little twirly, the little vine thing. And I just glued both of those on where I liked them, and that is it for this portion. Then took it outside and gave it a couple of coats of the same metallic spray paint that I used for my other projects. And here you go. What do you guys think? It's a little funky. I'm not so sure. I almost just threw it in the trash and, called it I'm just doing 4 projects today, but I thought, what the heck, I'd share it with you. Possibly you would have some better ideas to make it work out even better. Quick last view at the projects to overhaul the bathroom. I still have to paint and do a lot of things in here, so this is a part 1 of 2. I am so excited to get it all done and do a full reveal though, so stay tuned. I'm not sure when it'll be. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you have a favorite? I appreciate you guys taking the time to stop by today, and I hope you will check out the playlist and visit Devin's channel. Thanks so much, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.